Ito ang inyong lingkod na nagbabalik upang magbigay ng mga balitang walang bias at pawang katotohanan lamang. Ito ang Bayang Pinas. Ang isyung ito ay naging usap-usapan sa buong bansa at iba't ibang social media platforms. Congressman Colmenares sinubukan din ng talino nitong si Atty. Guevara, ngunit ang kinalabasan ay napahiya lang sa harap umano ng Congress hearing na nagaganap patungkol dito sa ICC o ang pag-question nila sa ICC. Congressman Benny Abante, tila ba patawa-tawa na lang ang kanyang ginagawa dahil nga hindi niya kinayanan o hindi niya nakayanan itong pambihirang talino at galing nitong si Atty. Guevara nung pagsagot sa kanya o pagsagot sa kanyang mga tanong na wala namang silbi. Ganyan dapat ang iyong mga gawin na kayong mga nandyan sa House of Representatives na tinatawag umanong mga kongreso, ngunit ang totoong mga balat nyo ay talagang totoo kayong buhaya kung hindi public servant. Kaya ang gawin nyo na lang, since wala naman kayong alam sa batas, ay tumawa-tawa na lang kayo kung hindi nyo kayang palagan or kung hindi nyo kayang magtanong ng maayos patungkol dito sa tinatanong nyong abogado. Tila ba nakakahiya itong mga naihalal na mga kongresistang ito dahil nga tinawag pa silang mga mambabatas, ngunit ang kanilang batas na kanilang ginagawa ay hindi man lang nila alam. Well, hindi nga rin, kaya nga rito ay hindi nga rin maiwasan ng ating mga netizen na magbigay ng kanilang mga komento at mga hinaing. Kudos to those who participated to this hearing. It is very educational and very productive. We viewers learned a lot, hoping all congregational hearings will be like this. Wala din kaming tiwala sa Kongreso. Manuel, sarili mo lang yan. Huwag mo kami isali mga Filipinos. Figures are coming from the leftists. From this Quadcon committee, mag-aral muna kayo ng batas regarding sa issue. Hindi yung nagmamagaling kayo, puro naman nonsense ang mga sinasabi ninyo. Aral muna mga nagmamagaling sa kongresista. Soljan Guevara, bilib po ako sa inyo sa paninindigan ninyo. Keep it up po, kailangan ka ng susunod na admin. Kung ako kay Kuting, paninindigan ko na lang na huwag nang sumali sa ICC kasi lagot siya pag pumalit na ang Duterte ulit sa gobyerno, yun lang po. Mag-play safe na lang sila, yun ang practical na kasagutan. Ilang taon ka na nag-aral ng abogasya at nag-profess ka pa ng karir mo bilang attorney bago ka maging DOJ at Soljan. Tapos yung magtatanong sa'yo, mga gumagawa ng batas pero di alam yung batas. Di alam ang rules of court dahil di naman sila nasa korte. Well, para nga sa kabuang detalye at impormasyon ay panoorin na lamang ang buong video. At salamat na rin sa ating mga solid viewers sa walang sawang pagsuporta. At kung bago naman sa ating channel ay syempre huwag kakalimutan mag-subscribe, pindutin ang notification bell, piliin na rin ang all upang laging maging updated sa mga balitang bago, totoo at walang bias dito sa channel ng Bayan, ang Bayang Pinas. Huwag din pong kakalimutang mag-iwan ng like at i-share ang ating mga videos. Muli po, maraming salamat and God bless.
Well, let's say kung ma-prove ng Philippine government na
Magiging kontento na kayo if you agree.
well, if there is real justice in the Philippines, Mr. Chair, magiging kontento, hindi lang kami, we're talking of the families of the victims. Pag may genuine and serious investigation and prosecution, who is there to complain about serious investigation and prosecution? Yes,
Should I-
Mr. Chair.
Your Honor, let me just put this in proper perspective. Yung pong report na merong mga 6,000 o 7,000 na insidente na may namatay, hindi naman po ibig sabihin na lahat noong 6,000 or 7,000 cases na yon ay nangyari na may abuse or merong lapse on the part of our law enforcement agencies. As a matter of fact, doon po sa initial na evaluation ng Internal Affairs Service ng PNP, ang majority po naman dyan na operations by law enforcement agents were regular. At wala naman po silang nakitang pagkukulang on the part of law enforcement agents. Kaya lamang po, meron ding mga several incidents na nakita mismo ng PNP na may pagkukulang. Kaya yun po ang pinaprioritize na mismong PNP nagsabi may pagkukulang tayo dyan. Pero hindi naman po ibig sabihin na yung 6,000 o 7,000 yon ay puro mayroong abuse of power ang PNP. Sila mismo nakita na po nila yan on an initial investigation na great majority ay tama naman ang operations. Kaya lamang, ganun pa man po, ganun pa man, kahit ganun ang sabi ng PNP IAS, ang DOJ po at that time had an agreement with the PNP and the NBI na, okay, PNP, kahit na ganyan ang finding nyo ha, na walang sabit yung mga law enforcement agents nyo, ipagpapatuloy pa rin ng DOJ at ng NBI ang pag-verify. In other words, i-double check namin kung yung in-exonerate nyo ay talagang dapat na ma-exonerate. Pero for now, unahin namin ito, matter of priority. Ito yung in-identify nyo na talagang merong problema. So unahin namin ito, pero hindi ibig sabihin na hindi namin babalikan the other thousands of cases where the police officers were exonerated.
May I clarify, Mr. Chair, my statement? Yes,
Attorney Neri.
thank you. Yes, well, 7,732 cases. Sabi ko nga po kanina, edi sana naman may 7,732 investigations. The Honorable Solgen said, well, we just found the other cases did not commit abuse. There was no abuse. The question of the families of the victims, how did the government even know if they did not investigate? From the data itself of the DOJ, only less than 1,000 were investigated. There is no categorical statement on the part of government so far that we have investigated the 7,732. So how do we even know that there was no abuse during the operations? Because in our opinion, Mr. Chair, and from the testimonies of our victims, ang nangyari lang kasi dyan, Mr. Chair, pag kiniklaim na nanlaban, self-defense, tapos na eh. I mean, that's it. So, ang hinihingi ko lang sana, at sana ma-inquest man lang yung 7,732 deaths. That is the process being sworn to by the government, not just the DOJ. Then we do it because it's required by the rules. Otherwise, if we don't do inquest, we only investigate less than 1,000 and just say all the others kasi there was no abuse. We don't even have a basis for that. Then may problema po
Neri.
tayo.
You said doon sa accession, di ba? Na pag nag-rejoin ulit tayo, should be ratified by the President and concurred by the Senate.
Correct yun.
So why is it when we withdraw, hindi kailangan yun?
Because as I explained earlier, Your Honor, when the Senate gave its concurrence, it did not impose any condition that its concurrence would also be required if the Republic would withdraw. It could have done so.
But they can question.
Validly.
They can question.
Question.
They can question the withdrawal
In
of the
fact, they
President.
did by filing this petition before the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court dismissed the petition. That was questioned actually, Your Honor. Pangilinan versus Cayetano.
So therefore, recently, the President mentioned and said that because of the resolution, that he will study the proposal. Sinabi niya yun di ba?
Hindi po accurate, Mr. Chair.
Ano yung sinabi niya?
Ang sinabi po niya na under study ay yun pong possibility of rejoining the ICC. Pero yung on the matter of non-cooperation with the current investigation, ay inulit po niya ang kanyang statement na we cannot cooperate for reasons already explained.
So therefore, kung sinabi niya under study, what would you recommend to the President?
Pag-aaralan ko rin po, Your Honor. Marami pong factors na kailangan nating i-consider sa pagre-rejoin. Kaya kung ang presidente po mismo ay sinabi na kailangan ng masusing pag-aaral tungkol dyan, eh lalo na po ako na kailangan mag-aral para dyan.
Thank you, Co-Chair. May we know, you have just one question, ano? Representative Acop? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kanina pa po ako nakikinig sa mga legal positions ng bawat panig. But I think I would agree with the Honorable Guevara that the bone of contention of this issue is contained in Article 127, Paragraph 2. May I know, ano po yung definition nyo ng the term commence? Kasi if I read yung statement na pinagtatalunan natin ngayong araw na ito is, the withdrawal shall not affect any cooperation with the court in connection with criminal investigations and proceedings in relation to which the withdrawing state had a duty to cooperate. That's the first condition. Pero hindi po, may second and ang sinabi, which were commenced prior to the date on which the withdrawal became effective. Yun po yung crux of the issue eh. Di po ba? But may I ask, Your Honor, the Solicitor General, what is, I think this statute has also its rules of procedure in the same manner that we have our rules of criminal and civil procedure. Tama po.
Tama po yan,
Yes.
Your Honor.
Now, the statement speaks of the term commence. So, going to Webster Dictionary, it means to begin or to start. Tama po.
Tama
Would-
po.
Would you agree, Your Honor?
Tama po.
Oh. But doon po sa previous statement, it is in connection with criminal investigations.
Tama po.
Now, when would a criminal investigation commence?
Upon the, well, depende po yan kung ang pinag-uusapan po natin ay yung sa ating sistema
Hindi,
o doon sa sistema ng
Your Honor,
ICC.
I'm speaking of, I'm citing the statement stated in Article 127 of the Rome Statute. It speaks of criminal investigations,
Apo.
and the term commence was used.
Apo.
Now, may I know, when does a criminal investigation internationally or locally start? That's my point, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, Your Honor. If we are going to base it on Article 13, it is when the one of the instances would be when the ICC prosecutor motu proprio requests for investigation. Request to commence.
Mm.
Maybe we should take a look at
No.
Article 13. Your Honor.
Article 13 speaks of exercise of jurisdiction. Yes, I agree, Your Honor. Kaya nga po, tinatanong ko eh, kasi nandito po yung issue natin eh. Kanina ko pa pinakikinggan yung mga legal treatises ninyo eh, pero this issue should be resolved. What is the legal definition insofar as international law is concerned sa term not to commence?
Hmm.
And insofar as international law is concerned, what do we mean by criminal investigations? And when does a criminal investigation start with international law? Yun po yung issue ngayon eh.
Yes, Your Honor. In the case of the Rome Statute, which created the ICC, the commencement of the investigation would be at the point where the pretrial chamber authorized the ICC prosecutor to commence his investigation. That is exactly what the two judges of the appeals chamber said. In fact, the prosecutor filed a request for the commencement of his investigation. He made that request to the pretrial chamber in March of 2021. So the pretrial chamber authorized the commencement of the investigation in September of 2021.
I heard that from you, Your Honor.
So that is my
But
answer.
I also listened to my good friend, the Honorable Colmenares. And I'm speaking as an investigator, Your Honor. a criminal investigation starts the moment a complainant files a complaint against somebody. Kaya, tama yung sabi po ninyo, Kong Colmenares. Kanya-kanyang interpretasyon ito. Because look at the rules of procedure. Dito po sa rules of procedure ng Rome Statute, wala akong makita na that will state kung kailan nagsisimula yung criminal investigation stated in Article 127. Yun po yung ko. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, if I may just clarify doon, Mr. Chair,
Oh.
just to clarify kung Kops.
Short
Short lang,
Okay.
Mr. Chair. Kasi I agree with the Solgen, exercise of jurisdiction is under Article 13 in relation to Article 15. And that's what the Solgen said
In
kanina.
relation to Article 12.
12. But then Article 13 refers to 15. You mentioned that kanina. What does Article 15 say? To the trigger ng exercise of jurisdiction. The prosecutor may initiate investigations proprio moto on the basis of information on crimes within the jurisdiction of the court. It does not say that the prosecutor will ask, but it says initiate. So that is different from preliminary investigation. And that is founded, Mr. Chair, for the lawyers na lang, under the same Article 15 referred to by the Solicitor General, subsection 6, which says, if after preliminary examination referred to in paragraph 1, which is investigation, the prosecutor concludes that information provided does not constitute a reasonable basis for investigation, he shall inform. And on the other hand, he may even also ask. So basically, ang sinasabi ko lang, Mr. Chair, while of course the victims will argue na nung final namin yan, it's a matter under consideration by the ICC. But even granting the argument of the government na it's Article 12 and 13 in relation to 15, then the start of the preliminary examination, which is in 2018, is the start or the commencement of the proceedings. But the government, well, they argue, no, it's not the preliminary examination of the prosecutor. It's when he or she requests for the preliminary investigation. So that's a matter of interpretation now. But for us, Article 15 is very clear. The exercise of jurisdiction is triggered when the prosecutor motu proprio investigates, doesn't even ask for approval, investigates. And that's why we say under the terms of Article 127, it has commenced and therefore the state has to cooperate. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for that.
Thank you, Attorney Neri. Soljan, can I just get back to you later? I'll just recognize first Representative Manuel for his questions.
Thank you to our chairpersons. Bale po, since many questions have already been posed, I would like to manifest first na dismayado po tayo dun sa hindi pagiging handa ng ating ilang mga agencies when it comes to data which are very crucial sa ating discussion. Halimbawa po, Mr. Chair, na ang main din na inaasahan ng DOJ for its data ang Philippine National Police. Ang pinag-uusapan po natin, drug-related killings na ang mayor din na dapat imbestigahan doon ang PNP mismo, Mr. Chair. And nangyari na rin naman at nagkaroon ng maraming mga testimonials and documentation about cover-ups, tapos pagtatanim nga rin ng iba't ibang mga ebidensya. Kaya Mr. Chair, tingin natin hindi natin mapipilit ang ating mga kababayan kung hindi sila agad-agad na makakapagtiwala hanggang ngayon dun sa nabanggit na mga ahensya at maghahanap sila ng ibang mga recourse para makamit talaga yung hustisya. And Mr. Chair, naunawaan ko rin kung bakit tinuturing na controversial ang issue na ito kasi maliban sa dating Pangulo, napangalanan din sa mga dokumento ng ICC ang nakaupong Vice Presidente tsaka 2 senador. Gayunpaman, Mr. Chair, kapag gumulong na ang lahat ng kinakailangang proseso sa bandang huli, walang sino mang tao ang dapat na makawala ng hindi nananagot kapag may nagawa silang kasalanan sa bayan. Kahit dating mataas na opisyal pa yan o kasalukuyang nakaupo sa pwesto, kahit dating presidente o dating PNP chief pa yan. Hindi rin dapat ginagamit ang anumang posisyon sa gobyerno para protektahan ang sarili o ang kamag-anak na dapat humarap sa investigasyon. Kaugnay po niyan, hindi dapat gamitin ng sino mang opisyal ang kanyang posisyon sa gobyerno para din atakihin ang mga kabataan at kababayang nagsusulong ng hustisya at pumapanig sa mga biktima ng war on drugs. Kaya kung meron pong investigasyon na dapat matuloy at mabilis na umusad, ito ang investigasyon sa lahat ng mga nagpasimuno ng madugong giyera kontra droga. Hindi forever ang impunity at kasaysayan po ang nagpapatunay na maniningil talaga ang mga naapi. Kaya dapat din maghanda ang mga sangkot dahil ang mga ebidensya laban sa kanila ay sobrang bigat na. Hindi gawa-gawa, hindi pinwersa.
First for an answer, I had to give it, and I have no reason to depart from what I had already stated. I think it's not only improper, it's illogical.
Ang
But
bili-
nothing is cast in stone.
ang bilis, the,
No, Your Honor, I'm talking from a legal standpoint. I'm not speaking as a political person.
Even in Mr. Chair.
Sorry if I cut you off, no, but I think what would help also is the figures that we were requesting the PNP and the DOJ to submit. Kasi right now, the figures, 7,000, 6,000, we don't really know where it came from, no? And we would prefer siguro that an official number be given by the PNP and the DOJ and what actions have been taken on these numbers that
That
will
is
be
good,
submitted.
Mr.
Para at
Chair.
least may basis tayo. Kasi we're just like, trying to pick figures from wherever, no? But
ask the Solicitor General with respect to the signing of the Rome Statute. Mr. Chair, is it possible that the Philippines can still rejoin the ICC by signing the Rome Statute?
The possibility, the matter of rejoining the ICC is, of course, a possibility. It's a decision that will have to be done collectively by the Republic if it wishes to rejoin the ICC. However, Your Honor, we need not sign the Rome Statute all over again because we have already signed it. What we need to do is simply to accede to it. The process is called accession, and that is done by repeating the process all over, meaning the President will ratify our joining the ICC, and the Senate will express its concurrence by a 2/3 vote. After that, the instrument of ratification will be deposited with the Secretary General of the United Nations, and thereupon we become a member again of the ICC.
Okay, so a while ago, it was established that as of today, the position of the government is that we have no legal duty to cooperate. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so with that, assuming that we have no legal duty to cooperate, now, can we allow the investigators or the prosecutors to go to our country and conduct their investigation?
As I said earlier, the prosecutor is free to do whatever he wants to do on the matter of investigation.
On that note, Mr. Chair, may we ask the DOJ, the PNP, as well as the Commission on Human Rights, are you going to cooperate with the prosecutors or the investigators? As mentioned, they are free to go to our country and conduct its investigation.
Your Honor, the Commission is more than willing to coordinate if the ICC so deems that they need our cooperation.
Right.
Yes, Your Honor.
May we know also from the other agencies, chairpersons?
DOJ?
I believe, Your Honor, that we have to defer to the orders of our principals. And of course, at this instance, it's the President of the Philippines.
PNP?
PNP.
Your Honor, I have said a while ago that as to the giving support to the investigation being conducted by the International Criminal Court, we are of the humble view that it would be more prudent if the PNP will just submit to the position of the president as head of the executive department, which the PNP is under, and also with the SILG. If we will be required to submit a petition paper.
Number 2, konduktor ng jeep.
Konduktor.
Sasabihin niya, nagkaroon pa ang kasya, nakakaitulog na.
Konduktor ng jeep.
And last, and the most prolific of all these liars, number 1, politiko. That's the end of the story.
Politiko.
Top 3,
Oh, ulitin.
pinakasinungaling na trabaho sa Pilipinas. I will start with number 3 and then 2 and 1. Number 3, beautician.
Beautician.
Sasabihin nilang maganda ang customer kahit hindi naman talaga. Number 2, konduktor ng jeep.
Konduktor.
Sasabihin niya, nagkaroon pa ang kasya, nakakaitulog na. And last, and the most prolific of all these liars, number 1, politiko. That's the end of the story. Top 3, na pinakasunod,
Politiko. End of story. Most prolific thieves and liars. Sabi niya. Prolific yung magaling. Mabilis. Ano pa? Prolific. Thieves. Magnanakaw at mga sinungaling. Mga politiko. Oh. Anong masasabi nyo? Comment naman kayo. Agree ba kayo? Beautician, yung mga nagpupunta dyan sa mga beauty parlor. Binobola ang kanilang mga customer. Jeep, hindi na ako masyadong sumasakay ng jeep. Kailang totoo yun. Meron pa, dalawa. Kailang, na pala, siksikan na, tayo ka na lang. Politicians, grabe, no? Si late Miriam Defensor Santiago, ang background niya is RTC judge. Hindi siya talaga politiko. I don't know paano siya napasok sa politika. Ang unang kunyata, senador na. So, ang tawag kay Madam Miriam is the best president we never had. Ang galing sana. Maganda sana ang kalagayan ng bansa kung nagpresidente siya. Kaya lang, noong 1992, maalala ko pa kapitan pa ako noon. Kumandidato siyang pagka-presidente, kalaban niya si FBR. Nako, binutuhan ko, Miriam. Panalo na siya. Leading, mamaya. Parang wala pa namang smart magic noon Mano-mano pa lang, dagdag bawas. Nako, biglang natalo si Senator Santiago. Mula noon, nawalan na ako ng gana sa electoral system natin. Kasi sayang, ito si Madam Miriam ang one of the best na hindi siya politiko, RTC judge. May character, may integrity, may talino. Grabe, malala ko nung mga impeachment trial. Kanino ba yun? Kay Erap ba o ano? Grabe. O kay Chief Justice, nandyan pa ata. Talagang galing niyang magano. Kung ganito lang sana ang mga senador natin ngayon. Miriam, kailan wala na. Mga senador natin yan, nag-aaway-aaway, nagsusuntukan na. So, one of the few senators na hindi kumukuha ng pork barrel. Yan po ang tatak Miriam Defensor Santiago. So, agree ba kayo? Politiko? Galing mismo sa isang politiko, hindi siya mahiya na magsabi na politiko, number 1 na sinungaling at magnanakaw. marinig ito ng mga senador, mga congressman natin, ano kaya masasabi nila? Bato-bato sa langit, ang matamaan, huwag magagalit. Okay? So, nung una, panahon ni Magsaysay, ito yung mga golden years natin sa ating panggobyerno. Hindi pa ganito ang panon kasi nasa leader lang yan eh. Mga nababasa ko na lang itong mga articles kasi hindi pa ako naipanganak sa mundong ito nung nagpresidente si Magsaysay. Hindi ka magsilbi yung mga pangungurakot paano ni Magsaysay. Wala. Isang example lang, yung kapatid niya nasa Wallace Air Base sa San Fernando, La Union. Merong eroplano ng Philippine government, Philippine Air Force na nandun. Pabalik siya sa Manila, yung eroplano ng Air Force. Yung piloto, napag-alaman niya na ang kapatid ni President Magsaysay nandun sa San Fernando, sa Wallace Air Base. So, naisip ng piloto na sayang yung sayang yung biyahe, inoffer niya yung makisakay na lang yung kapatid ng presidente dahil presidente. O sumakay naman yung kapatid. Biyahe, nakarating sa Manila. Nako, nalaman ni President Magsaysay, galit na galit. Pinatawag niya yung piloto, pinatawag niya yung kapatid niya, pinatawag niya yung treasurer ng Pilipinas, National Treasurer. Sabi niya, hindi porke kapatid ko yan ay isasakay mo na sa government airplane. That's for official use only. So ayoko nang maulit yan. Sabi na, treasurer, you deduct from my salary yung pamasahe ng kapatid ko. Bayaran niya yan, hindi pwedeng malibre. Ganon ang tatak Magsaysay. Sabi, no? Ano pa, yung mga contractors sa gobyerno. Nako, lumapit sila kay Mrs. Magsaysay, lumapit ng gano'n. Nalaman ng presidente, tinawag niya yung wife niya, tinawag niya mga contractors. Huwag niyong gamitin ang wife ko. Hindi magsilbi yan, dapat bidding yan, walang pabor-pabor. Kayo, mga kontraktor na lumapit sa wife ko, hindi kayo makakakuha ng yun, mga ganon. Ay, nako. Ganon sana ang mga politiko natin ngayon. Kaya, isa pang nabasa kong article. Presidente na siya, no? Nagdra-drive daw yan ng sakyanan nag-iisa, pupunta sa mga liblib na lugar. Nung mga panahon yun, maraming hook balahap, yung mga NPA ngayon. So, siya na mismo, pumunta doon. So, dahil wala mang TV, wala pang radyo lang, hindi nila kilala si President Magsaysay kasi liblib nga lugar, somewhere ata in Central Luzon. So nandun, nag-iisang tao na dumating, nagtatanong, ano bang mga kulang nyo dito? Okay. First time yung mga tao na nagkaroon sila ng experience na may tao with jeep na nagtatanong so ang mga tao, sinabi nila, ito, wala kaming ganito, tulay, kalsada, eskwelahan, health center, kung ano-ano. Binuhos nila yung reklamo nila sa gobyerno. Yung tao naman na yun, na si Magsaysay na pala, nililista. Okay, sige. Maghintay kayo. Ganon. The following day, dumating ang kung ano yung parang hinaing ng mga tao, dumating. Sinimulan na ang tulay, kalsada. Yun pala is President Ramon.